I can't date no white man because, well, first of all, I love my black men. And secondly, I just feel like the moment I try to give in, like, okay, I go on a date with him, is the day he'll try to kill me. And not no regular kill. I'm talking about, like, cut my limbs off, throw acid on me, and disfigure my body. And baby, all that shit just ain't worth it. Death ain't worth it.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all the story of why I don't date white men. So I went on a date with this white guy, and we had hung out a couple times before, and like we were chill whatever. So we go to Stouffville, which is a couple like an hour north of the city, and so we go to his uncle's place. Okay, long story short, tell me why we started going on a walk, and they just start saying the n-word here, there, everywhere, him and his cousin, everywhere. Then they make a joke about how his cousin, her boyfriend, named their cats KKK and George Floyd. And then we go back to the house after our walk, right? His uncle starts talking about how there was no racism in the 80s. Mind, this is not the kicker. The kicker is, when we walked back into the house, the Candace Mother effing Owens show was on the TV. I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die.
Now you guys are gonna think I sound crazy, but racism is literally the reason why I can't drink out of plastic cups anymore. I'll tell you why. I was at a party with a man I was dating for years at this time, and I had a baby. I had a baby with me, and I can't remember if it was like a Memorial Day or 4th of July or something like that. I don't know what it was, but I go over to his family's house, and this is his extended family. I've met all his other, brothers, sisters, whatever, already. His mom, his dad. This is his extended family. This is his cousins, his aunts, his things like that. So I'm at their, we go to their house for some type of event. Something to do with fireworks. I can't remember the exact day. But we're there. We meet up at his aunt's house first, and then we're gonna go to his cousin's house, which is her son. So we meet up at the aunt's house, and as soon as I walk in, I can already feel the vibe. If you know, you know what I mean. So anyway, as soon as I walk in, I they're like meeting each other, and they're like hi, and you could just feel kind of the tension fill up in the room. And so next thing you know, like I'm offered a drink, and like everybody else had glass champagne flutes, right? Tell me why. Like, and I saw her just before that. She had gave her niece a drink, and then she asked me if I wanted one. So tell me why. And I saw where she got the cup from. So she goes to a completely different counter or area, and she, or cabinet, and she goes and gets out a plastic cup. And mind you, like I'm the only black person there. I'm the only black person in the room. And she goes and gets a plastic cup and serves me champagne in a plastic cup. Like that's so disrespectful. I didn't even drink it. I didn't even touch it. Like I was so offended. Like because one, I know you thought I didn't know the ignorance that's behind serving someone champagne in a plastic cup. But the fact that you did it like right in front of me thinking I didn't know, like I could already feel the tension in the room. So to this day, like I cannot drink out of plastic cups because of racism.
So this is the story about when I dated a white man, and it's very, very, very long overdue, but you guys wanted to hear it, so here it is. So one of the very first things that he said to me was, my parents are different. So I'm like, okay, that's okay, that's what's up, like, but different like how though? So he was like, well, my dad grew up around black people and they weren't very nice to him. And then I go, oh, that kind of sounds like me. I grew up around white people and they weren't nice to me either. Then he goes to say, well, he doesn't like black people now because of the experiences that he had. And I'm just like, oh, I mean, okay, sure, why not? We're not even gonna compare experiences. Anyways, so I am in my late 20s, and now I am tiptoeing through this man's house because he doesn't want his parents to see a black woman in his house. I said, I love you, but this is not the life I want.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Unfiltered for You Stories. If you're new here, you're most welcome. And for my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back. So today we are reacting to TikTok clips of some black women explaining why they personally choose not to date white men. And we are going to watch these clips together, and then we shall talk about what is really being said and what is being misunderstood. And please note that this video is not about bashing the white men. It's just listening to these women expressing the things that maybe they went through while dating a white man. Some may have been misunderstood. Some may have been a personal character. So it's not about generalizing all the white men. Without wasting much time, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and let's get started.
He definitely had a black girl fetish. I went on a date yesterday with a man that was not my race. He was very much, okay, me and him, we're just talking, just chatting. I was like, you know what, let me just do something a little spontaneous for the plot. He's like, oh yeah, I want to take you out. Let's go grab some drinks and some tacos. It's Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Okay, cool. The crazy part is that I really did not want to go. Like, I didn't want to go at all. I'm just trying to do it for the plot. We're supposed to meet at 9:30 p.m. And prior to the day, the man was already blowing up my phone, just calling me. He called me, say, oh, I'm gonna be in my suit because I'm just coming out of work, meeting, something. So wear a cheeky dress, wear a cute little dress, something. I was like, okay, cool. I ended up wearing a cute little dress. Literally, I wore this dress, okay? As I'm on my way, he calls me again. And then he asks me, oh, what would you like to drink? And I'm in my head, I'm like, come on, love you, no drink me. Don't go and poison me. Like, no, I'm like, and then I told him, I'm like, no, I'll wait till I get there before I order my drink. Like, I'm literally like 3 minutes away. There's no rush. You know what I'm saying? I get there, boom. He already was looking at me from outside the window. So he came outside to like open the door and do his little one too, I guess. So I was just like, okay, cool. That did not impress me. That's normal. I'm sorry. That's the bare minimum. Get there, order my espresso martini. He's already done with his own espresso martini. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you just got here. At first, he's a vibe. But then after maybe 10, maybe 20 minutes, he starts with the sexual talk. Oh my God. I just met you, bro. So I'm just like, okay, you're funny. I'm already getting uncomfortable, so I'm already looking at the time like, all right, cool, I'm about to figure out a little escape plan. He's reaching for my hand / my thighs, and I'm just like, I don't know if you're trying to be romantic because you already started talking of all this sexual nonsense, because he was like, oh, I'm the type of person, I feel like, oh, I need to taste before I, get into a relationship. Hey! Like, no, sir, that ain't what we doing over here. I actually tell him, I'm like, okay, I don't think this is what we should be talking about on the first date, especially because like I just met you for real. Every time he finishes talking about anything sexual, he will go like, you should come see my balcony after this. You should come see my balcony after this. And I'm like, only balcony? Which one? What is balcony? What is balcony doing for you? I was like, okay, like what's your thing with balconies? He was like, oh, I just love balconies. Hell no. You want to push me? Or do you think any action is going to happen on that balcony? Which one is it? Because none of the above is going to happen in the name of Jesus. You are sick. He's coming closer and trying to kiss me. Oh my God, you guys. I just remember something. One moment, he tried to lock eyes with me and then he came close. I did not like that, y'all. And then he was like, I feel like women only restrict men from sex, men that they don't like from sex. And then he was asking me, oh, do you like me? Do you find me attractive? Some. And I'm just like, bro, chill, bro. And then, y'all, he was so conceited. As I just told you guys that he would ask me, oh, do you think I'm attractive? He would answer it by himself. He'd be like, I know you think I'm attractive. I'm like, if only you knew how hard I was cringing at you right now. You would literally go home and never go on a date ever again. At this point, I started telling him, oh yeah, like, let's get the waiter, let's go, let's leave. I don't even think it was up to like 45 minutes. So next to us, there was a rooftop bar or whatever. So he wanted to go to the rooftop bar and keep drinking. Oh, Emiko, I did it all. But with my homegirls, I get late. But I don't know you, so I'm not getting that late with you, So we end up going to the rooftop because I wanted to see the rooftop anyway. And then this guy tries to kiss me again. You guys, I don't know what we were talking about. I don't know what warranted this, but he started saying the N-word. This is when I lost it. And then I'm like, don't say that to me. Are you crazy? Are you sick? Like, don't say that to me. What if I knock you out right now? We were literally on a rooftop. If I push you over this rooftop now,
Cause of that, you said the N word. So yes, that was my last straw. I was like, okay, yeah, like I want to go, I want to leave. So on our way downstairs, he's still trying to convince me to go, you know, to his house and see his balcony or whatever. So I'm like, no, I'm not trying to go see your balcony, whatever. So he gets irritated, he gets angry, and then he walks off, or like we both part ways and walk off. I'm like, no, I'm walking to my car. He's not saying anything. We don't say bye, we don't say nothing. We just part ways, and I go home and he goes home, and that's it. That was literally the end of the date, you guys. He didn't even last 24 hours. I personally don't think I would be trying that again. Like, I couldn't even stand his sight. I don't know, maybe it was because it was corny and very, very egotistic. I don't know, maybe that will, I don't know. And then he was making like several racist comments. He was like, I thank God you're not ghetto, like, you know. I'm like, what do you mean? I've only encountered racism in my comment section, but seeing it in real life is crazy. Right in front of my koro eyes like this. Hey, I barely knew this man for like 24 hours. Oh my God. And I even forgot to mention, this man gonna smack my nyash. He gonna try to smack my nyash. I think that was the moment where I decided, okay, now it's time to freaking leave, because this man is crazy. I don't know you. Anyway, that's the end of this story time. I will see you guys in my next video.
I get asked in my DM on a daily basis, do I date white men? Because a lot of y'all are attracted to me. No, sir. Excuse me. I've done it twice. Second experience was much better. Didn't work because of the distance. First experience was terrible. Met him when I was 14. The relationship got bad real quick. Like 14 years old, you know, I wasn't really comfortable with a lot of the stuff he was asking me to do. So it's just what it was. And trans all the way over till I was 15, and I just ended it. So because it was an argument we had the night before. He had one of his exes at his homeboy house, and they spent the night, and I'm like, bro, no, like, this is over. Like, no, I'm not no simp. You not, no, this is over. I'm not stupid. Y'all are all doing stuff that I wasn't ready to do, and I'm not gonna believe that you spent the night with your ex who was already just as active as you. I gotta be real careful how I word stuff. I put the, you know, the real version of this on my second TikTok account, but yeah, I wasn't going for that anyway. So he was like, can you just come over here and we can have a talk and, you know, just get closure? This is why I don't do closure to this day. Was 15 years old, fell for it. Got me to an apartment complex. He had some friends there, but they left and went to the haunted house. Left me there with him. I didn't know he was high off pills. I didn't know. That's why I said, when you a teenager, you better let somebody know where you going, bruh. And use this story time as a reason. So we didn't talk about the relationship at all. And this is his homeboy house. He started looking at me funny and being real touchy and talking about my body. I was 110 pounds. This is why I have a complex with being skinny, and I want to keep my weight as high as I can keep it. I was 110 pounds barely. He was every bit of 140, 150. I couldn't get him off of me. I was too small. So, you know, and I'm not comfortable with the conversation we was having. And in the midst of all of that, we start scuffling because I'm looking at the door like I'm trying to leave. And he just, you know, keep touching me. And now we scuffling because I'm trying to get to the door. And somehow he gets me underneath him. And I never shopped at Rue 21 again because I had on a pair of Rue 21 undies, and he tore them in half like a piece of paper. For you to tear somebody's undies like a piece of paper, you know he was high out of his mind. And because it take a lot of strength to tear, dryers do that. Anyway, so that was that. And I fought until I heard my pelvis crack. I heard it before I felt it. And that was the most excruciating pain I have ever felt in my life. C-section pain was almost comparable to that, but C-section pain was worse. Anyway, you know what happens next. Now, that ain't the first time I had been assaulted. So when he knew, because like I said, when my pelvis cracked and that pain, I couldn't do nothing else. There was no more fight left in me. That was it. And the apartment complex that I was in, across the way, somebody had left a light on. And that's why I always leave my light on. Because, you know, like I said, if they hadn't had their light on, I don't know what I would have done. Me being assaulted 2 or 3 times before I got to I just knew I had to find something to focus on. I have to leave my body. You know, I'll be okay, but I have to leave my body. And I left. They left their light on. And I made sure that I focused on what they had outside. I counted the apartments that I could see. I counted everything that they could see, you know, that I could see on their balcony. And when it was over, his friends coming back. Okay, so I had enough time to at this point, I'm just trying to get the up out of here. You feel me? Because took my phone, took my purse. The friends done walked in. When I saw them, I had just got through putting my stuff back on because I was finna run down them steps. Gone. 5 more people walk in. I said, oh, okay. This is why to this day, I don't go nowhere without that pole on me, because they walked in and I said, this finna go 1 or 2 ways. So, and I'm like, bro, give me my stuff, because I'm yelling at this point. You already done took my womanhood. Give me my stuff. You see what I'm saying? And he starting to come down. He realized what he done did. And he like, no, all y'all get in front of the door and don't let her leave. Everybody in the house was black. He was the only white one. So they took orders from him. He was like, get in front of the door. Don't let her leave. I did something I didn't mean to do. Just get in front of the door. Don't let her leave. And he just, you know, they did it. And he just trying to reason with me. I'm getting madder. I'm getting louder because people coming home. When I was yelling, I don't know if nobody cared or whatever. It was a ghetto complex, so they probably heard yelling all the time. Didn't nobody come see what was wrong? Didn't nobody call the police? And that's why I don't believe in calling the police to this day, because when I was in there getting assaulted, didn't nobody call the police for me? So that's why I don't believe in it. For myself, of course. Now, if it has happened to you, absolutely call the police. I'm telling you where my mind was as a 15-year-old girl. So, yeah, if you get assaulted, absolutely call the police. But at the time, I was like, man, what, the police gonna give me back my womanhood? Me calling the police, what is that gonna do? I got to get in front of a jury and all of this. When I told my sister what happened, and she was like, you need to report. I said, what am I gonna do? They can't give me back what he already took. I'm not going through that. So anyway, how I got out the apartment, I managed to get my phone. I called my sister. She was with her boyfriend, and he sent his older cousin. Now, we were 15. The cousin that came and got me was like 19, very tall, and they were very scared of him because they had followed me outside. I said the name that was coming to get me, and they thought it was somebody from the other side of town that they was into it with. No, when they seen his car, when I tell you, they backed up and started running. And to this day, that's why I don't have nothing bad to say about that man. I didn't really date him until I got older because I was underage when he came to get me. He liked me, but he knew we couldn't do anything because I was underage. And he respected me. He didn't make no move on me. He made sure I was okay. He consoled me, got me to my sister safely. And that is why to this day, I don't have nothing bad to say about him. We tried to date when I turned 21. It just didn't work. The age difference and too much time had passed and all of that. But yeah, that's why I won't date another white dude, because I'm always think about the blonde hair, blue-eyed one that forced itself on me at 15. Y'all are very handsome, but it don't have nothing to do with me being racist. It's too much trauma attached to that. And every time I look at you, I'm going to always see his face. So no, I don't date white men.
Story time about my experience dating a rich white guy. Y'all, things was good until it turned left. Like, it went south real quick, okay? Y'all don't mind my gray hair, but I'm gonna tell y'all the story. So, I'm pretty sure y'all remember POF, the date app. Plenty of fish, whatever. So I met him on POF, and he kept like messaging me over and over and over and over and over. And I was like, fine, I will just give this guy the time of day, you know. So anyways, we started talking over POF. Everything was going good. He asked me on a date plenty of times, and I said no. And I finally gave him one day. Y'all, let me tell you something. That gut intuition that God bless us with, y'all, ladies, it's never wrong, okay? I knew something was off and weird, but I kind of ignored the signs. So we went on our first date. Everything was good. And he can hold a good conversation, that was my thing. But it was just something. He was giving something that was just off. You know, it was just off. Like a vibe there was just off. But because he was funny, I was like, okay, this guy's funny. He wasn't bad looking either. He was a pretty handsome guy. So, anyways, we had a good first date. It was good. And I was like, maybe it's just me trying to put on that protective instinct where I don't feel like dating anybody. I don't want to put myself on it anymore. So we always find excuses not to be available to do things that we really don't want to do. But we know it will take us out of our comfort zone if we actually do it, right? So I was like, okay. So he asked me on a second date in the middle of our first date. And I was like, okay, this guy's up to something. He's serious or whatever. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go on a second date with you. Second date come around, y'all. Everything was good again, y'all. Food was good. The conversation was good. Everything was like going great until the end of our second date. So at the end of our second date, he asked me to meet his family. And I'm like, dude, this is our second date. What am I doing meeting your family on our second date? You know, but I'm like, maybe it's a different type of thing because it's my first time dating a white guy. So I was like, maybe that's something that they do. I don't know. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. So they had a barbecue that following weekend. And he was like, I want to take her to the barbecue so I can let my family know who you are. So I was like, okay. I asked him the dress code. He told me, and it was like casual, simple, whatever. Y'all, when I got to that damn barbecue, it wasn't like a black barbecue, y'all, where we wear our sandals and whatever. I'm talking about all these women wearing high heels. I'm talking about like 4 inches, 3 inches, 5 inches high heels. And I felt a little bit out of place because I'm like, I'm casual. I have on a long sundress with some flats. I was cute, but I'm looking around and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I thought this was a barbecue, but wasn't clicking. That girl, this is no damn black barbecue. Like, this is no damn black people barbecue. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I told him, I was like, I feel out of place. So I met his sister first. And she seemed really cool. We was there, like, me and her was sitting down for a good minute, you know, so she seemed cool. His mom seemed nice. His dad was nice. His uncle was funny as heck. So the sister had asked me for my number. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of early for me to give you my number, you know, whatever. So I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I didn't want to overthink things because I'm a Virgo. We analyze, we overthink everything. When I say everything, I mean we overthink every freaking thing. So I kind of like stepped back and I was like, okay, I give her my number because she seemed cool. Y'all, the barbecue was fun. I must say the food was good. It was good. And it was not no damn black person was in that place. It wasn't about white folks, okay? And their food was good. It was good. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna put no on there. Their food was good. And everything was good. We went on a few dates. And everything was really, really nice. And I was like, but it was just still something that was sticking me in my gut. Like, something is gonna happen. And that's gonna throw this whole relationship off, this dating thing off, right? And this was about 3 weeks in of us dating. So the sister started calling me like at random times a night. When I'm talking about random, I mean random. I'm talking about like 1 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock at night, 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning. I'm talking about like random times she would be calling me, and I'm like, and she don't want nothing. She'd be like, hey, how you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm fine, or whatever. Like short convo. And I find it weird. And I said it to him, and I was like, why is your sister keep calling me odd times of the night or in the morning? Like, that is weird. And he was like, oh, but that's just how she is. She's pretty friendly. And I'm like, it's one thing to be friendly, and it's another to be creepy. I'm getting the creeps from this, right? So she kept doing it over and over and over and over. Y'all, she kept calling me. I'm talking about like, she kept calling me. And I was like, and I kept telling him, like, hey, can you tell this sister to stop? To the point where I had to block her. So I blocked her, right? And I guess she went and told her brother that I blocked her from her calling me or texting me. And I was like, of course I'm going to block you. Like, you kept calling me weird. And I keep telling you, like, hey, I don't appreciate the fact that you're calling me so late or so early in the morning. Like, it's giving me creep vibes, you know? Like, we don't do that, like, at all. So we went out for dinner, and I could tell that his energy was off. So I was like, hey, what's going on? And he turned around and he was like, he proceeded to tell me that, oh, I don't appreciate the fact that you blocked my sister, and if you're dating me, that means you're dating my sister as well. Like, we're all one, we're family, that's what we think, that's how we program in our family. And I'm like, what do you mean if I'm dating you, I'm dating your sister? I was like, no, I'm not dating your sister. If we're dating, it would be me and you, not me, you, and your sister. And it was like, yeah, me and my sister is close, like we grew up together, we do everything together. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine and dandy, but again, I'm not dating your sister. I'm dating you. Okay? So he started being weird at dinner. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. If this is something that you guys do, then that's fine. But as for me, bruh, hell no. So I told him, I was like, so what do you want to do? Because if I have to date your sister while I'm dating you, this shit got to end today. Like right now. I don't want to date you anymore. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to, there's no future in this anymore if I have to date you. And that comes with your sister can call me or text me anytime of the night or the day for no reason at all. She will be calling me out. So I told him, I was like, you know what? This is not for me. I'm done with this. And I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to date you anymore. None of that at all. I was done. And I was like, for me to sacrifice my safety, my peace of mind, because you have money, that ain't gonna happen. So from that day forward, I tell myself, I will never allow anyone or any amount of money put me in trouble or in jeopardy. It would never happen. I will not sacrifice my life or freedom because of the sake that you have money or you think that I like you enough to sacrifice my peace. Hell no. You creepy, your sister creepy, your whole damn family creepy if that's how you guys program. And that's what I told him. I was like, I will never talk to you again. Tell me why this guy starts stalking me. Like, I'm not kidding y'all. Go to part 2.
This is the story of how I survived dating a white man for 30 days. Now, here's a disclaimer. I am not racist. I am not prejudiced. This video is not a form of hate speech. I am merely sharing my experience as a black woman of not just African American descent, but Caribbean descent. Someone who has always been open to interacting with all types of people from various ethnic backgrounds. We all bleed the same. However, historically and culturally, we are very different. And that's just a fact that we cannot ignore. So some people may get triggered by the things that I'm about to discuss in this video. And if that's you, go ahead and click off now. I'll wait. All right, let's get into it. Before I go into the story, I'm not here to bash the guy that I was talking to, getting to know, because like I said, we were literally dating for 30 days. And when it comes to dating, it's a hit or miss. You know, some people you'll align with and realize that you have more than chemistry. You do have some compatibility. And some people, they just ain't shit. When it comes to this situation, I've realized one thing, and that's that I was operating out of the white savior complex. And when I say the white savior complex or mentality, it's like the black men I was meeting, I was just fed up at that point. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to date outside my race. A man is going to be a man.
Clock it.
It doesn't matter how long, how wide the girth is. It doesn't matter if he's tan, heavily melanated, light skin, dark skin, white, pale as a ghost. A man is going to be a man. Let me repeat it for the people in the back. A man is going to be a man. There's plenty of interracial couples that we see who are in happy, healthy relationships. However, y'all have to stop putting these people that you see on social media on a pedestal, because you know why? We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. What was the final straw for me in this situation was that I already knew, like, my ancestors. Like I said, I'm half Haitian, y'all. On my father's side, I am Haitian. If you know your history, Haitians were actually the first slaves to revolt and gain their independence. So I know my ancestors were sitting up there like, girl, so we died for this? The red flags that I ignored, of course, just like in any other type of toxic connection that you could have with a man or even with a woman, was the love bombing. I asked him straight up, like, y'all, I'm pretty blunt. I was like, look, let's cut to the chase. Are you open to dating a black woman because you really are interested in developing a serious relationship with us? Or is it just a fetish? If you're going to date interracially, you have to be willing to face certain truths, especially being in America. You're coming from two separate worlds, and the black experience is only something that a black person can really connect with you on. Another thing in the situation that was just a deal breaker for me was the fact that this motherfucker had the nerve to ask me how long did it take for me to grow my hair. I have a big ass fro. I have hair. And despite what stereotypes are, you know, out here that misrepresent black women in their hair, that is a very sensitive subject, number one. And number two, we can grow our hair. We are not bald-headed biddies. Third was that his father was racist. It was crazy because when I first met his dad was all chill, cool, calm, collect. And then literally a week later, the guy ended up telling me, like, hey, you know, my father had a conversation with me, and he was like, you know, I don't want you dating her. And he had the nerve to refer to me as their kind.
Baby, it's giving Jim Crow. It's giving KKK.
Last but not least, this could be, it's not necessarily a race thing, but it does tie into it. But when it comes to me dating, you have to have something going for yourself. And for you to be a broke man, let alone a broke white man, you have all of the privilege when it comes to living in this country. And to say that me as a black woman, mind you, me and him, we're the same age. I'm like, I've accomplished way more than you have in your life, and you've had way more opportunities, connections, just based on the color of your skin. Sis, let me tell you this. Before you go dating outside your race, heal whatever traumas that you have. Dating outside your race is not going to heal your inner wounds and the traumas that you need to work on within your self-love, within how you view yourself, within dating.
So we have listened to those women, and most of the things that they are pinning out, some of them really experienced something related to racism, either directly or indirectly. So a lot of black women feel tired of feeling like they have to be a full-time history teacher in their relationships. You realize that according to these ladies, when they faced the racist situation, their partners did not stand up for them. Like they were okay with it. You had that lady who went with her man to a family gathering, and then she was the only one served in a plastic glass, while others were served in the breakable glasses. So that was something to really show that you are not either one of us, you're not welcome here, we cannot share with you the same glasses, we can't drink with you on the same glass. That was a very bad experience. Even if it would have been me, I wouldn't still want to relate with people like that. It means that maybe you have to be explaining to them that what they have done is not good. They are discriminating you, or what was done is not the right thing, or they are being racist, and then you have to explain how racist they are, like to people who pretend that they haven't seen or noticed what exactly they have done to you. Because explaining racism, microaggressions, or why something is offensive every time is emotional labor. And yet, in a romantic relationship, you want to feel safe, not that you are constantly defending maybe your reality. However, like I said, this is not about hating the white men. It's about not wanting to be exhausted in love. Then, white men fetishize black women. Yeah, some black women have experienced being sexualized and not respected. They say to them things like they are fun, exotic, they are something different, and yet they are not someone that they would take to their home. Like this lady, unfortunately, who went through sexual assault, that was so bad. So he was just viewing her sexually, but not with respect. And once you've experienced being someone's experiment and not being their partner, you stop entertaining it. That's why this woman said that she can never date a white man. It's because of what she experienced from this boy, and she was still so young. And the other one also, who went on a date, of course, she was just being sexualized. That's why she said that she doesn't think she will do that again. And that is not for these ladies to be like feeling insecure. It's just discernment. Then still on racism and social circles, this is a big one that people like to ignore, because you're not just dating the man, but you're dating his family, friends, and the environment, which is the social circle. For this lady who was invited out for a barbecue, you can see that she felt out of place, and then went on to experience that relationship with the boy's sister, which the boy clearly defended and said, when you date me, it means you're dating even my sister. And of course, being a black woman, you may ask yourself, like, if we get married, is this what I'll be experiencing? One thing I realized about white people, they don't have so much privacy, by the way, like the black people. Or like for me, being an African, I find it weird, inappropriate, or disrespectful, where everyone can just come into your bedroom. I find it so funny. If you are married, a woman is advised to keep her bedroom, of course, her and her husband's bedroom, very private from outsiders. Not even their own children can just go into that bedroom like that anyhow, unless I permit them to enter into it. But with white people, I see that privacy is not there. For this case, the sister might always be part of our lives, like decision making. Yeah, and then of course, when you get married, when you are the only black in the family, you'll be asking yourself, will I always be alone, like in this family? And then the guy went on to say, if you are dating me, it means you'll be dating my sister. And if you don't accept that, that means like it can't work out. You will still ask yourself, will I be protected or will I always be silenced? And honestly, not everyone wants to sign up for such kind of relationships, which will be a lifelong stress. Yeah, and then of course there are those who are saying, for me, I prefer the black man, I prefer a man from my own culture, I prefer a man whom I already know, like we know each other, we have shared cultures, we have shared history. This part is very important. Some black women feel more understood when they don't have to explain about their cultural preferences, hair politics, code switching, or survival instincts. And that shared context can feel like peace. And of course, choosing peace is not an attack on anyone else. However, let's be honest. A lot of black women have dated white men before, and even they are still doing it. So these opinions did not come from nowhere. They came from lived experiences, disappointment, dismissal, and sometimes straight up disrespect. And yes, there are some white men who are emotionally intelligent, anti-racist, respectful, protective, and intentional. With that, I'll come to the end of this video. Let me know in the comments, do you think this is about race or about protection and peace? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for staying with me, and let's meet in the next video.